Hey guys, what's happening? I wanted to make a video about depression. You know, it's a subject that is not talked about a lot, and if it is talked about, I feel like it's talked about in a very superficial fashion. There's not enough depth and realness to the subject. The other day I was in Santa Cruz and I had like an hour of depression. I don't even know if I can call it depression. It's just an hour of this intense fog, sadness, cloud, overwhelming sense of grief, and it's not something I have experienced in so many months. And of course I lived in a state like that for years, and when I experienced it again, it just reminded me of how intense and consuming it is, and how blinding it is, and how it takes you out of a world of possibilities. It took me out of anything good, anything positive. It was just this dark, dense cloud, and I just remembered, you know, first of all, I remembered where I came from, and I also remembered how difficult it could be to navigate through life in a state like that, and not choose other things that that propel and attract more of that. So what I wanted to do, the idea that I had while I was in that state, was to talk about just the deepest depths of what depression is for me and what it has been for me, in order to connect to someone who's going through it right now. Because in that state, I had a couple hours of it, and I was like thinking about, who could I go watch on YouTube right now? You know, who could I watch on YouTube to make me feel better? Like, I was looking for a fucking YouTuber, and I couldn't fucking find anyone. So I need to be that YouTuber for myself and for you. So yeah, I didn't feel like I could relate to anyone, you know, that they were talking about it with a level of sincerity that I wanted. So anyhow, the depression is like every day. It's like every day is a cold, wet, rainy, foggy day inside your mind, and everything you do is clouded with this fog and this helplessness. It's like every text you send, you think about what is bad about what you said, or what the other person is thinking about you negatively, or you're in a grocery store and everyone's looking at you, knowing you're sad and knowing you're depressed, knowing you're this helpless little boy who can't do anything, and there's this feeling. It's like a pit inside. It's like this pit. Sometimes it claws at my throat or claws at my stomach. It's like this clawing that comes in, that closes you to life and closes you to any joyful experience. And it doesn't matter where you are. I was on a beach when it happened. It doesn't matter where you are. It could be in a paradise. It's like this internal state that's completely irrespective of what's happening on the outside, or who's around you, or what you're doing, or what you're eating. And it makes everything gray. Everything. The colors are even different. The colors of life are even different. I just see the ocean is gray, the sky is gray, the sand is gray. Everything is just gray. And yeah, I don't even know how to describe this feeling. It's like someone is inside of you, squeezing the life out of you, while you're in there at the same time watching it all happening. And you know, for 3.5 years, I remember I lived in that state. The depression was so severe for me that I remember when it was at its worst, and the panic attacks were brutal. The worst part of it was the panic. But I remember at its worst, basically my life consisted of not committing suicide. Like every hour was like, I just need to get to that hour, make it another hour. And I've been reading these books about survival stories and extreme natural conditions, and one of them was about these people who escaped the Himalayan mountains on a plane crash. Nando Parado, and he was talking about how he couldn't even imagine the end goal. He could only imagine 100 yards in front of him. He was climbing out of the Himalayan mountains in the winter. All he can imagine was 100 yards further, 100 yards further. And I really know what that's like, you know, I really fucking know what that's like. And yeah, I just want to make this video for people who are in that state to watch this and know that I know what it's like. There are plenty of people on this planet that know what it's like. They may not be able to articulate it, they may not even consciously know it, but it's a worldwide epidemic right now. And you should also know that there's a way out of it. You know, you can watch more videos on my channel for stuff about that, but I've completely come out of it. You know, it's very, very bizarre for me to go enter into a state like that, but maybe it was to make this video, maybe it was to help me go deeper into my truth, maybe there's no reason for it, you know, maybe I don't need to know why. Maybe somehow, somewhere, even with the best of detox and the best of spiritual work, there's still no way to eradicate somber moods from the human experience. And it was almost like when I felt that mood for because I try and go back to my old days, and I wish I wrote more. I wish I recorded or wrote more, or just journaled more, because you won't believe it, but somehow, sometime from now, whether it's a year or 2 years, you won't fucking remember what this is like. You literally won't remember what your depression is like. And you would be wishing that you journaled it and made videos about it and wrote about it and wrote about every detail about it, because it becomes like a dream that you don't even have access to anymore. Like a fucking nightmare that you can't even access. You only remember it as this weird nightmare you had where there was some demons and zombies, but you can't even feel what it was like anymore. So cherish it. Cherish this part of yourself, this piece of yourself, this experience. And one thing that somebody told me a long time ago was, listen to your depression, for it'll take you where you need to go. And I completely agree with that. Your depression is going to propel you to do things, experiment with things, learn about things, research things that you never would be researching, for you not to experience, or I'm sorry, if you weren't experiencing this pain. So time does this weird thing where it shrinks, and time like shrinks in on you. It's like the future and the past come into this crushing moment where everything you're experiencing now is exactly how it's always been and exactly how it's going to be in the future. And it's like you can't even remember any other time beside this sadness. Like you were just like, yeah, you know what, like the things that happened to me is like, you know what, I've been like this for years, I just didn't realize it, you know, like I've been depressed all these years, you know, or like even yesterday I was depressed, I didn't realize it, you know. And then when I come out of it, it's like, wait, I'm not depressed. Like, so, and then the future is this impending doom that is going to be a reflection of this exact moment, and everything in the future is going to be an exact mirror of the way that we feel in that moment, and then it makes it even worse when you go out into the future and you go, oh my God, I have a meeting with this person and they're gonna feel this and they're gonna know this, and then that's gonna fall away and that's gonna fall away and that's gonna fall away, and pretty much you're fucking homeless and you have no life and everyone hates you and you hate yourself, and all you have is like a dog with 2 legs. And you're all, you know, yeah.